I'm back. Back in the day my husband was dying. The nerve of him. I didn't waste a second. I hit up that private fertility clinic so fast it made my head spin. I swapped out his pathetic frozen sperm sample faster than he could say, "I love you." The hospital called an official wanting me to ID the body. I played the role of the grieving widow. I took his soon-to-be stiff hand and pressed his print onto the stock transfer papers. That was my company too, damn it. The funeral was almost over. The vultures were circling, the casseroles were drying out. Then she showed up, his precious little Snowflake, with her fancy lawyer and his bullshit. Well, chapter 1, the doctor gave the death rattle speech. Terminal. No hope. Like some twisted theater performance, the family shuffled in to say their goodbyes. When his parents finally stumbled out blubbering like babies, that snake of a personal assistant Ethan Chase slammed the door in my face. "Mrs. Evans," Kevin said, "he couldn't bear for you to see him like this. He wants you to remember him and how he was." "Oh, really?" My mother-in-law, wiping her crocodile tears, patted my arm. "Honey, we know how much you two loved each other. Kevin's just trying to protect you. You should listen to him." My father-in-law, all bluster and ego, chimed in, "It's his dying wish. Don't be difficult." I stared at that closed door, a chill snaking down my spine. How could I have been so blind? All those years of "I love you" and public displays of affection, and he was nothing but a damn liar. Couldn't bear it. He just didn't want me around. When his precious little Snow White Stacy Moore flew back into the country to hear his dying words last time, I bought his act hook, line, and sinker. I knelt outside that room like a pathetic fool, begging to see him one last time. 5 goddamn hours on my knees. My legs were numb by the time his heart flatlined. That door never opened. I swallowed my grief, pasted on a brave face, and planned his damn funeral. And then she strolled in, Miss Stacy, perfect, with her perfectly coiffed hair and her perfectly timed will. Turns out my dearly departed husband had stashed away some frozen sperm at a private clinic, and guess who was designated as the only person allowed to use it? Oh, and all his assets? The company stock? All going to his future little darling. Before I could even process the betrayal, his parents were all over me like white on rice, screaming about me robbing them of a grandchild. 5 years of marriage, and you couldn't pop out a single heir? You were trying to wipe out the Evans line. We welcomed you into this family. If you try to stop Stacy from having that baby, I swear to God, I'll throw myself on the casket." The hypocrisy was suffocating. He was the one who didn't want kids. I even poked holes in the damn condoms, and I already had his kid in my belly, a little legacy for the family. But my frantic explanations were drowned out by the chorus of accusations. "After everything Kevin did for you, the least you could have done was give him a family. You must have been a real ball buster at home. He probably felt trapped. You are selfish. You should be the one in that box." The family, drunk on outrage, basically chased me out of the funeral. I stumbled home in a daze and got nailed by a damn car. As I lay there bleeding out, I saw her, Stacy Moore, sitting in the other car, a cold smile twisting her lips. I swear I heard her say it. "Only I can have his child. You are not worthy." Then it hit me. Stacy heard what I said. She knew I was pregnant. She was scared that my baby would steal her inheritance, so she sent me to meet my maker. But now I'm back to that fateful day, and I'm going to rewrite this whole damn story. I'm going to take back everything that's mine. If you really want to see Kevin one last time, why don't you get on your knees and beg? Maybe he'll have a change of heart. My mother-in-law was practically drooling at the thought. Last time I actually listened to her. 5 hours on my knees, my joints screaming in protest, and yet at the funeral his parents acted like Stacy's arrival was no big deal, twisting the truth to defend her. They knew. My mother-in-law always treated me like dirt because my parents died young. I had no one to back me up. Now she's trying to humiliate me. I squeezed out a few tears, shaking my head sadly. Dad's right. It was Kevin's dying wish. As his wife, I have to respect that, and with that I turned on my heel. "Hold it, My father-in-law bellowed. Where do you think you are going? My son only has hours left. Who's going to handle everything if you leave? You expect us old folks to do it all. I choked back a sob. I just can't bear to watch him go. I'll be back at the first sign of trouble, I promise, my mother-in-law whispered to my father-in-law. Let her go. She's here. She cut herself off, but it was too late. Yes, Stacy was in that room, and they wanted to say their goodbyes without me around. Sure enough, my father-in-law said, don't go far away. Okay, I said I left the hospital and punched the address of that fertility clinic into my GPS. I walked in, spotting a young guy behind the counter. His name tag said Liam Hall. I went up to him. My husband stored some frozen sperm here. Can you look it up for me? Liam didn't even look up. Sorry, we don't offer that service. Figures. I pressed on. I want to see the manager. Liam finally glanced at me, his tone dripping with sarcasm. That's me, and I'm telling you no. I raised an eyebrow. Is that so? What if I bought this place? Liam eyes widened. What? You are crazy. I smiled sweetly. Name your price. Liam eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. 5 million. I pulled up a chair and sat down. Let's see, this place has been open for 3 years, using the most advanced technology to guarantee over 90% sperm viability. Too bad the fees are outrageous, and you have been bleeding money since day one. The only reason you haven't closed down is because you are stuck with all those contracts. Liam rolled his eyes. It cost me $1 million to get started. Can't go any lower. Deal. I wire the money. Liam pulled up the member information. I found Kevin Evans and scrolled down, my gaze landing on a name. Derek Johnson. Liam chuckled. He's African. He committed a crime here, ran over and dropped off his sample before the cops caught up to him in case he wanted a legacy someday. I grinned. He'll do. I barely made it out of the lab before my phone rang. I answered, and my mother, in law wails, filled my ear. Leah, Kevin's gone. The doctors said we need a signature to release the body. You need to get back here now. I'm on my way.
I'm so sorry, Mom.
Please try to stay strong. I hung up, took a deep breath, and drove to the printing shop. I printed out the stock transfer agreement and sped to the hospital. Kevin and I founded that company right after college. We each owned 40%, with the remaining 20% divided among 5 other investors. In my previous life, Stacy and her lawyer showed up at the funeral, and I found out Kevin had secretly bought out the remaining shares before our wedding. That made him the majority shareholder with 60%. Once Stacy's little spawn inherited that stock, she would control the entire company. The hospital room was a mess of tears and hysteria as soon as I walked in. My mother, in law, lunged at me, ready to slap me. Where the hell have you been? Get on your knees. The crying quieted down as everyone turned to watch the drama. Not wanting to miss a single detail, I gritted my teeth and lowered my head. I'm so sorry. I was in such a hurry that I got into a car accident. That's why I'm late. Everyone noticed the bloodstain on my knee. An older relative immediately said, Oh, honey, your knee is all busted up. Don't make her kneel. You need to ask her the story before you get all physical. You need to do better. My mother-in-law stammered, desperately changing the subject. I'm just so upset. Just sign the papers so we can release the body. Don't make my baby wait any longer. After signing, I threw myself over Kevin's body and sobbed all the way to the morgue. The body would be kept there overnight before being taken to the funeral home. The doctor said gently, I'm sorry for your loss. No one is allowed in here. As everyone dispersed, I looked at him through tear-filled eyes. Doctor, I didn't get to say goodbye to my husband. Can I just have 5 minutes alone with him? The doctor hesitated, then nodded, walking away to the stairwell. With my back to the camera, I held Kevin close, whispering my farewells as I pulled the stock transfer agreement from my jacket. I took his soon-toed stiff finger, dabbed it in the red ink I found in my bag, and pressed it to the signature line on the document. After I was done, I called the doctor back and left. Kevin's assistant, Ethan Chase, was waiting at the hospital entrance, handing me a list. Mrs. Evans, these are some of Mr. Evans' requests for the funeral arrangements. You will need to arrange for the funeral. Kevin was a meticulous control freak. His funeral was no exception last time. I pulled all-nighters to get everything on that list done perfectly just to honor his wishes, and all it got me was a front row seat to my own humiliation. I didn't take the list. I looked at Ethan. If I remember correctly, you have been working for Kevin for the last 4 years. Ethan looked startled. Yes, ma'am, I sighed. So now that Kevin's gone, where should I put you in the company? Kevin scrambled. Mr. Evans told me on his deathbed that I was to run the administrative department. I raised my eyebrows. Really? Was that official? Not yet. Kevin's eyes widened. He clenched the list in his hand. Ms. Evans, I'm sorry. I can prepare all this myself. Don't let it trouble you. I smiled, took the list, and tore it to shreds. Don't bother with any of this. Call the funeral home and tell them to book the cheapest package. He's dead. There's no point in wasting money. Ethan stared, unsure how to respond. I stepped closer, tilting my head. I actually feel sorry for you. You have done so much for Kevin, but he didn't trust you enough to tell you about Stacy. You were only needed to support her rise in the company. But have you thought about what's going to happen in 10 months? What are you going to do then? Kevin's pupils shrank. He stumbled back. Ms. Evans, you know? I dropped the smile. I know more than you can imagine. Now I'm going to give you a chance. Swear your allegiance to me. After the funeral, I'll make you the manager of the administrative department plus 10% shares of the company. Think about it and give me your answer soon. I turned to leave. As soon as I got into my car, a message popped up from Ethan. I put Ethan in charge of everything for the funeral. I was basically sleep deprived for a year, so I spent 2 days catching up on sleep. I arrived at the funeral on time, following the map Ethan gave me. I twisted and turned until I reached the cramped chapel. It was hot and stuffy, packed with guests who were sweating and impatiently waiting. My in-laws looked miserable, avoiding eye contact. I squeezed through the crowd and stood next to them. My mother-in-law saw me and glared, raising her hand to strike. This time I was ready. I grabbed her arm, pushing her back hard. She lost her balance and fell, wincing in pain. Tears welled in my eyes, and I started to rant. Mom, what are you doing? Do you have to demean me in front of my dead husband? The room went silent. My mother-in-law scrambled to her feet. Demean you? You are the one who's demeaning my son. My son was a successful CEO. What is this place? You have no shame, but we do. My father-in-law was fuming. This is outrageous. I sniffled, choking back tears. I'm so sorry. You are mistaken. This was Kevin's decision. He said there weren't any important people. The room exploded with chatter. We took time off work to come to this funeral, and it turns out he thought of us like we are trash. What the hell? I even lent him money back when he was first starting out. I guess he's too good for us now that he was the big boss. My father-in-law was starting to lose it. That's not true. My son wouldn't do that. I glanced subtly at Ethan. Ethan immediately stepped forward. It was Mr. Evans' decision. Ethan was Kevin's dog. No one would doubt what he said. My in-laws were at a loss for words. The room roared with complaints. Some of the guests were even getting up to leave. That's when I faced the crowd and gave a deep bow. I apologize on Kevin's behalf. I hope you will all bear with it. After the funeral, I'll personally give you all some compensation.
Please.
Kevin's reputation could be ruined, but not the company, and definitely not mine. The guests calmed down. Oh, well, since Mrs. Evans has said that, I can wait. What, Mrs. Evans? That's Ms. Evans. I remember that she was the one who founded the company with Kevin. I think Kevin was just a puppet. It was Leah who held the company together. The tide was turning. I straightened up. Let's begin. The funeral began in an orderly manner, but the atmosphere was strange. No one was crying. No one was upset. The memorial service at the end was mostly empty. I gave Kevin, who was lying still in his coffin, a cold look and turned away, not wanting to see him anymore. The funeral was about to end. I was about to give the guests their goodbyes when a cold voice broke through the crowd. Please hold on a moment, everyone. There's something I need you all to bear witness to. Stacy Moore walked in wearing black with a white flower. Her lawyer walked in behind her carrying Kevin's will. I barely turned my head, my heart beating with excitement. The show was about to begin. A year ago, Mr. Kevin Evans froze his sperm at a facility. The will clearly states that only Ms. Stacy Moore is allowed to use it, and Kevin assets and company stock will be inherited by Kevin's child. The lawyer paused for a beat, setting down the will. According to the documentation provided by Mr. Evans, he acquired the remaining 20% of the company the day before marrying Ms. Leah Evans. The 60% he now owns is premarital property and will be divided according to the will. The second those words left his lips, my in-laws went off like a goddamn fire alarm. 5 years of marriage, and you couldn't give us a baby. You waited until my son died. You are trying to wipe out the Evans bloodline. We welcomed you into the family. If you try to stop Stacy from having that baby, I swear I'll throw myself on his casket. With that, my mother-in-law made a beeline for the coffin, but this time nobody stopped her. Nobody even said a word. An eerie silence fell over the chapel. Stacy, quick on her feet, rushed to stop my mother-in-law. Don't worry, Mrs. Evans, Kevin and I grew up together. Whether I get the inheritance or not, I'll make sure to have his child. Kevin was too scared to even mention kids to Leah, so he didn't want her to bear that burden. I will take that burden for him, and I know she agrees. My father-in-law snorted. She doesn't have a say in this. It's in my son's will. This is about the Evans lineage. Leah Evans can't decide about that. Kevin, other relatives started to chime in. Leah, this is about our lineage. Since you don't want kids, don't interfere with someone who does. Yeah. The Evans family has been around for 5 generations. It can't die out. It's only fair that Kevin's property goes to his descendants. I heard when a spouse dies, the marriage is over, so Leah doesn't have a right to stop this. I ignored them all, turning to the lawyer. Mr. Chin, I just want to clarify something. Does my husband will specify the percentage of stock being inherited? The lawyer hesitated, grabbing the will to double check. It doesn't. But Mr. Evans provided proof of ownership. I see. I gave a subtle sigh, looking out to the crowd. I don't object to Stacy having the Evans baby, and I won't interfere with the will. My mother-in-law scoffed. Figures. My father-in-law, hands behind his back, was barking orders. Stacy, for the next 10 months you are to take care of your health, and with the company, let Leah train you, so you can take it over. Once my grandson is born, you'll start running this company immediately. Stacy, eyes widened, brimming with greed. Thank you, Mr. Evans. I will make sure to not let you down. I'll give the Evans family a son, and I'll do my best to run the company. Hold on, I snapped. I think you guys are mistaken. The son will only be able to inherit share Kevin owns. Stacy blinked quickly, catching her breath. Leah, I know it's hard to accept this, but it's no use saying things that aren't true. Mr. Chin chimed in. We've confirmed with the corporate office that Mr. Evans does own 60% of your company. My in-laws were quick to call me out. Everyone heard what you just said. Don't go back on your word, or you will embarrass yourself. You still have 40% of the shares. Don't be too greedy. I calmly pulled out the stock transfer agreement from my bag. Kevin transferred 59% of the shares to me about 2 weeks ago. I was planning to take care of it, but it looks like this happened. Mr. Chin also said that the will doesn't specify the percentage of stock, so Stacy's baby can only inherit the other 1%. You can ask Ethan for the confirmation. Ethan looked shocked but spoke. It's true. Kevin did ask me to prepare that stock transfer agreement. No way. Stacy's eyes were wide as she reached for the transfer agreement. I sidestepped her, handing the paper to Mr. Chin. Stacy shot me a look, urgently pleading with Mr. Chin. See if it's fake. Mr. Chin gave a little gulp. This stock transfer was done before the will was made. It does look like it's Mr. Evans' handwriting. If the fingerprint is real, the baby can only inherit 1%. After working with Kevin for so many years, I learned to copy his handwriting and the fingerprint. It was the real deal. I kept my face straight. You can get the fingerprint checked. I have nothing to hide. My in-laws glanced at each other, unsure of what to say. I looked at Stacy, keeping my voice gentle. Stacy, I don't know what Kevin promised you, but you said you will give the Evans family an heir no matter what. You will keep your word, right? The crowd started to whisper. Does anyone else think this is strange? I thought I heard this woman say that she'd have his kid whether she inherits the money or not. I heard it too. Why isn't she saying anything? Did she change her mind after hearing she'd only get 1%? What a snake. Lucky this company won't end up in her hands. After hearing those words, my in-laws freaked out. My mother-in-law grabbed Stacy's arm. Stacy, you can't change your mind. Our family needs an heir. My father-in-law urgently said, Kevin told us that you are the most important person in his life. It's just a baby, you can have us raise it for you when it's born. Stacy lowered her eyes, subtly pulling her hand away from my mother-in-law. It looked like she wasn't going to do it, and I couldn't have that. I can't be wasting $1 million. I spoke. You don't have to worry about money. You are not just getting company shares. Kevin has at least $5 million in assets. That means as long as you give Kevin a child, the money is yours. Stacy had shot up, her eyes glistening. You don't have to worry, I'll follow my promise and give the Evans family a child. Stacy was hooked. My in-laws were ecstatic. Kevin, other relatives were quick to praise her, but the people who knew the real story exchanged strange looks after the drama. The funeral ended without a hitch. As I promised, I gave everyone a compensation payment. I wasn't just getting relatives. There were also some employees and partners. Their support was going to be valuable for the company's growth. After the body was cremated, my in-laws wanted to take Kevin's ashes. I wasn't going to stop them. On the way back, I glanced at Ethan. You did well. Tomorrow your promotion letter will come out, and you will get 10% of the company shares. Kevin took a heavy breath. Thank you, Ms. Evans. Where are you going? I closed my eyes. To the hospital. I have a small procedure to take care of. I had to take care of the kid in my stomach. There was no problem with the writing or the fingerprint. With me being the widow, I could easily take over his corporate shares. I got to sit in the big boss office. Ethan contacted me saying Stacy had taken the sperm and went through with the IVF. My in-laws were thrilled. They stayed with Stacy all day and night. My mother-in-law went to the office and warned me not to pull any tricks on Stacy, or I'd be sorry. I thought she was crazy and kicked her out. 10 months went by in a flash. I went to the hospital to get my pills and ran into my in-laws downstairs. I saw the screaming coming from the delivery room, and I understood. It looked like Stacy was in labor. I went over there curious. My in-laws looked like I was the enemy, looking at me with suspicion. What are you doing here? I'm warning you, Stacy about to give birth. Don't even try to do something. I laughed. Why would I do that? I was Kevin's wife. Once I thought I'd come and visit his baby out of respect. My mother-in-law twisted her mouth. I can see that you are jealous you couldn't have Kevin's child. The doctor told us that our grandson is tall and will be an athlete. My father-in-law looked proud. It's our family genes. We need to train him and he can be an Olympic athlete. I couldn't hold it and I had to laugh. My father-in-law glowered at me. What are you laughing at? I heard from the lawyer that Kevin has real estate with your name on it. As soon as my grandson is born, you need to divide it. Don't stop his education. My mother-in-law glared. If you try to move your assets, we'll sue you. I smiled. Don't worry, as long as Stacy is Kevin's child, I won't touch it. My mother-in-law rolled her eyes. Of course. My son was always in love with Stacy. That's why he wanted her to have his baby. You're just pathetic. My father-in-law scoffed. Kevin only married you because he wanted to bring you to his company. Don't think he loves you. I thought that might be the case. Why else would he secretly give Stacy a sperm? Because we were husband and wife. I worked with Kevin at his company and didn't suspect him at all. And he secretly took all the shares. Kevin was jealous of me, scheming behind my back. He never loved me, but God gave me a second chance to rewrite my story. During my thoughts, the scream stopped. My in-laws jumped up. It's time. The Evans family has an heir. Son, you finally got your wish and had a baby with the one you loved. I'll keep my word and take care of them. That's when the doors opened. The nurse looked at us strangely, holding a blanket. Who is Stacy? More family? My in-laws rushed to her. We're the baby grandparents. We want to see our grandson. The nurse backed away. You're the father parents? My in-laws got nervous. Yeah. What's going on? Give us our grandson. The nurse gave them the baby, reminding them, you need to prepare yourselves. This is Mrs. Moore's child. The baby was tan with curly hair and thick lips. He was black. My in-laws were stunned as they looked at the nurse. No way. This isn't our grandson. You must be wrong. My son and Stacy are fair-skinned. How would they have this baby? The nurse sighed. Ms. Moore was the only person in the delivery room. This is her child. She's out of it and resting. You can ask her when she wakes up. You can take the baby to the room. Ms. Stacy needs to be watched for an hour. She gave my mother-in-law the baby and left. My in-laws looked at the baby and looked at each other confused. I went over frowning. I'd suggest getting a DNA test. My mother-in-law started to shake with the baby. It must be a mistake. How could this? My father-in-law got pale. That's it. This can't be an Evans. Stacy's been out doing something and wants to get our inheritance. She's evil. I could tell they were about to kill, so I backed away. Stacy was going to have a rough time. She got herself into this. If she wasn't too greedy for the money, she wouldn't in this position today. The lawyer told me that my father-in-law did get the DNA test, and Stacy's baby was not related to the Evans family. Kevin's inheritance was split. My in-laws and I each got a third of the $5 million. 7 days later, when I was at work, my assistant told me Stacy came here to see me. I thought about it and put down my pen, sent her in. Stacy was pale and weak, but you could see the anger in her eyes. You were reborn, right? My heart jumped, but I kept my voice calm. I don't know what you were talking about. Stacy gave an evil smile. Don't lie to me. I got reborn too. In the past, there was no stock transfer agreement. The 60% was mine. I even arranged a car accident that killed you. You shouldn't be alive. I raised my brow. You admit you are a murderer? I should call the cops on you. Stacy was livid. Don't play dumb. You messed with Kevin's sperm, didn't you? I said, if you have proof, go to the cops. Don't act crazy with me. I wasn't worried. I only gave Ethan money. I didn't actually buy the sperm facility. The facility was going to say that Kevin was the one who gave the sperm. No one was there to say what happened. Stacy was angry. You are lying. I could have had Kevin's child. Our child would be white and cute. Not that black baby that can't be. I know it. What? Did she die before birth and not see the baby? Kevin was such a fool. Stacy growled. On his deathbed, he said he couldn't forget me and that he loved me. Why couldn't he give me the money? Why did he want me to have a baby? I blinked. What if Kevin was getting revenge on you? Stacy was stunned. I continued. I heard your story. You cheated on Kevin, and Kevin had to break up with you. What if he hated you and wanted to trick you? What if he just kept his sperm and had it changed in the fertility clinic? Stacy's pupils shrunk, and she was shaking. No way. No way. He was so nice. How could he? I could tell she was breaking down. I added, with men, don't see what he's saying. See what he's doing. They all said Kevin didn't love me, but he gave me all the shares. The lawyers said it was his handwriting and fingerprint. That's why I know he loved me. Stacy looked up confused. Are you lying to me? In my past, there was no stock transfer agreement. All the shares were mine. I frowned. I think you need to see a psychiatrist. What if you weren't reborn, but you are just having delusions? Delusions. Stacy was lost and sat on the ground. I called my assistant, escort her out. After going home, Stacy's mental state got worse. She couldn't tell the past from now. She would hold her baby and giggle. She told people her child was going to inherit a fortune, and she was going to be rich. Her neighbors called the cops. Stacy's parents took them back home. Ethan glanced at me. Ms. Evans, Stacy is crazy now. Do we need to investigate her? I shook my head. No need. Even if Stacy said the story about being reborn, no one would believe her. I thought things were finally over, but my in-laws came my place. I came out of the parking lot and saw them waiting at my doorstep. I frowned and took out my phone to call security. Then my in-laws got on their knees. Leah, I was wrong. I shouldn't have degraded you or hit you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. My mother-in-law slapped herself, tears falling. My father-in-law also slapped himself. It was my fault. I know Kevin didn't want kids, but I still blamed you. I also hurt you and protected that girl. It was all my fault. What are you doing? I looked around. Are there any cameras? Do you want to act like I'm hurting you? My mother-in-law shook her head wildly. No way. We were wrong. You were the one who really cared about Kevin. We came to see our grandson. My father-in-law looked hopeful. We know that you were pregnant. He should be half a year now. My mother-in-law knocked her head on the ground. Please give us a break and let us see our grandson. My father-in-law wiped his tears. The Evans family finally has an heir. Ha ha ha, I laughed. You want to see your grandson? They nodded. I pointed down. Then go to hell. I had that kid aborted as soon as Kevin got burned to ashes. My father-in-law eyes widened. No way. You wouldn't? How are you so cruel? He was the only member of the Evans family. You bitch, I'm going to kill you. My mother-in-law jumped up. I sidestepped, and the guards came and stopped her. I frowned. Don't let everyone in here. The guards started pulling them out. Wait. I looked at my father-in-law. Why did you think your bloodline was going to die out? Don't you have it in you? My father-in-law stopped yelling, and his eyes lit up. My mother-in-law was stunned. Husband, if you bring a baby with a random woman, I'm going to die with you. I said, you are okay with letting Stacy have the baby, but you are not okay with it for yourself? You are so selfish. My father-in-law looked down. That's it. My mother-in-law started scratching his face. They started to fight each other. I smiled and turned to leave. I didn't hear from them for half a year. My father-in-law had been going around trying to give Kevin an heir. He was willing to offer $2 million to any girl if she gives him an heir. He contacted Stacy's parents too. At the time, Stacy's condition was getting worse and worse, and she had a biracial kid. Stacy's parents were taking care of them, but money was tight. Then they heard about the $2 million and contacted Kevin's father. My father-in-law saw Stacy and forced her. Then Stacy was pregnant again. One day my father-in-law was with Stacy at a check-up in the hospital. He ran into my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law looked at Stacy and understood everything. She yelled at the hospital, wanted to hurt Stacy. My father-in-law didn't like it and pushed her away, asking for a divorce and protecting Stacy. My mother-in-law faked the divorce and wanted to talk to him, but Stacy's parents realized that they weren't going to get the $2 million. Then they got an abortion and left. I was just on the internet, reading all the news. Those evil people were going to take care of themselves. We were strangers now, after all. Ms. Evans. This is your schedule for today. My assistant brought my schedule. I put my phone down and start my day. The end.